Okay, we're recording, Hetty.
Okay.
How are you?
Hi.
What should we do today? Which one do you want to do today?
Well, I'm very much interested to see the parallel model in action. So the UDF method. So if we can try it on an actual model of yours, a solar model maybe, so that we can see how this UDF works in action.
How about this? Would you did you get some kind of email, LinkedIn or something?
Yes, so actually I posted something on the UDF method, and it's actually started. I started
Can
having
you
a
show me
conversation.
that?
Yeah, sure. Sure, we can look at that. Okay. Okay, so that's the post I have on the UDF method, and so here is the comment. So we have a comment from Roderick McKinley that he's commenting on the UDF method, saying that it's kind of complicated and it raises the audit cost, and some people, he's saying that in the audit firm, the Big Four, they don't have the knowledge and capacity to audit simple VBA codes.
You're making me crazy now, Mr. Roderick, because our whole task, Eddie, you know that we've been working on this now for a year or two to make this easy and to demonstrate that basically this whole process does the auditing for you. I'm not trying to get anybody really mad, but I don't really care that much. I don't want to put the Big Four out of business. I don't think we're going to do that, Hetty. But I want to show you it's not so complicated. This is about showing you. This video is about showing you it's not so complicated. So I've already rambled on too much, and let's just go back to the website and get started.
Okay.
I'm very emotional about that one. We got to show people that it's really not so complicated. So this doesn't count, Hetty. You know, if somebody's counting, how long does it take to implement this UDF method? The discussion we had just doesn't count as the time, right? We're going to start from now. So let's go and search the website and see if we can find it.
Okay.
And you told me to put a search button in. Hetty yelled at me and said, "Why in the heck don't you have a search button?" Well, I don't know how to do this. It was hard. I spent way too long getting this. Oh no, what's employment reference forms? Oh, what is that? Is that not working?
What was the
You
keyword?
just go down a little bit. The Google puts a little ad there. Sorry about that. Okay, this doesn't count either, everybody. This is not part of the time. If this is a little bit of a long video, skip this across. Of course, just look at the website. So down there, I think, is that? Oh, no. Well, go here. Go. Let's just cheat. It was the next one. It's probably the next one down. We should have put circular reference. We did. Go down. Oh, perfect. Go down a little. It says introduction. Go up a little. Up a little. Up. There. Click on that one. The top. Yeah. That one. Right. So I put those little things in the whatever. Did it take it?
Yes.
Okay. Here we are. So here's what we have to do. We have to get that file. That's going to be kind of like, if anybody watched the video we did before, we're going to get that file, and that's going to be our starting point, and we're just going to copy some code into it's like an add-in. It's like a kind of add-in, but I don't want to make this, I don't want to muck up your Excel with putting all these add-ins at the top. You have to do a tiny little bit of work. Not a tiny, and let's use a simple solar model. Anybody these days, when they have a example, everybody starts with a solar model because it's so easy. Although, Hetty, I saw a solar model that had like 7,000 lines just the other day. Oh my God. Okay. It shouldn't have that many lines. So we had. Do you have those open?
Exactly. So I just downloaded both files just to test, but
Sorry, your friend Roderick's making me so emotional about all of this. Okay.
and this is the
fantastic.
solar model.
So you have the two models. So this solar model is so simple right now, it's hard to describe. It's an annual model, nothing. But, if you watched our last thing, that last sheet we did, with all those DSRAs and EBLs and whatever it was, balloon payments, that was a complicated month by month, semi-annual, all that model. So we're starting with a simple model, and then, Hetty, we'll get much more advanced. Is that okay?
Yes, perfect. Okay.
So the first thing is you have the circular template. We have to move this circular template into our model. So it's going to be the same sort of thing that you did last time. Remember, you have to click on that thing that says copy function. No, I was wrong. We have to first Alt-EM it. Alt-EM, a new verb.
Okay. And then always remember to click on create a copy.
Oh, I would have forgot.
Yes. And then the destination file is, okay, now let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to copy this sheet into our model, right?
Yeah.
Ed, what was the shortcut to
You
copy
remember it. Don't pretend you. It was it's Alt-E, what? M. Oh, right. She remembered it. She's just...
Remember to create click on the create a copy. And then my destination file is the basic solar model. Perfect.
How
So we are
about
all
this
set.
time? Why don't you copy it before sheet operating data? So right after the model, that will be your file. Okay?
Perfect.
And then we're not
Okay,
quite
please.
finished. We're not quite finished because you've got to go back to the parallel model and get the UDF code. So your friend, Mr. Roderick, says, nobody even has to see this code. Later, when we get more advanced, we'll look at it. But this can be very transparent. And all the code does, by the way, it just redoes your model. It's just putting it in kind of a different language. So we need to copy the function.
Exactly.
Not go to the function, we need to copy it.
Okay, sorry. Copy the function. And Control A to select all the code, and Control C to copy the code. Right? And then I exit and go to the main model. Okay, that's the basic solar model, and then I need to insert it here.
Yes.
Okay, so Alt F8 to open the macro, and I can just give it a name, right?
Yep.
Let's call it UDF.
Okay.
Okay, and then create, and here I just delete whatever I have here that I don't need, and then Control V. So I have it inside the solar model now, the code.
That's the hardest part.
That's the
Was
hardest
it that
part. Yes, we
hard?
did it.
It wasn't that hard, was it? It's kind of like when you have to do this HTML stuff in WordPress. You have to kind of copy it, but that's even harder. I never know where to put it. Okay, now we're ready. Now, here's what you do. You go to the parallel model. Now, this time, I'm going to go really quickly here. Do you see? I think, Hetty, we'll have a different discussion of the concepts. I just want to show how it mechanically works. The first thing to do is just get the CapEx. So go to if you want to do, and now let's do what you did before. Go up to line 5. We had a discussion about this, and just put the dates in line 5. I think that might be a good thing. And we have all the, no, that's in the model. Everything will come from the model, the first page. Okay, and just, you click on the very first date. No, oops. Uh-oh. Yeah, that, click on that date.
Okay.
Is that the first? Okay. Shift Control. Oh, very good. And then let's get the CapEx.
Mm-hmm.
So go down and put an equal sign and get the CapEx. So that I kind of tried to, when I explained this is like I'm trying to explain a very simple model, and the first somewhere right after you do all the operations with how much solar power you get, you better put the CapEx, EBITDA, and the revenues and OpEx. So press Enter and just copy that across. And then you, after that, you go down to the EBITDA, the next one. And I can't believe this. I saw a model, this 7,000 liner. It didn't have EBITDA in it anywhere. How could you not have EBITDA? Now, if you go down,
okay.
Can you go down now? There's some other inputs we have to get in, and a lot of these, most of these, 99%, 95% will be left blank. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
That just is a template, so we have to have all this room for this crap.
Mm-hmm.
Hetty and I had an argument, not a big one. She said, "Why don't you make a template?" And I first thought, "Oh, templates, they suck." And then she was right, of course. This is the only way to do this one. Keep going down.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of start here.
But we don't want this to. We have to repeat that, right?
No, we're okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. That when I did it, Eddie, it came immediately.
Yes.
I'm going to leave this one in the video. Go down. And I just go down to the bottom.
Yes.
And I put, at the very bottom, I put the IRRs in there. Mm-hmm. And right now, you see it says 11.98 project IRR, after-tax IRR, equity IRR. Go to the model.
Yes.
And what's the IRR? It says right at the top, 11.98. So we haven't put the taxes in yet, but that shows you it's a parallel model. I could delete the parallel model. Mr. Roderick, there is nothing here that is affecting your model. It's all totally separate. Now go to the parallel model again. And now what we're going to do is go to the next section and add some taxes. Go up to the top.
Yes.
All the way up to the top, Eddie. And for the taxes, we need some depreciation and a tax rate. So right down there it says tax depreciation. Put an equal sign, just like you did before, and go and get the
Is it this depreciation expenses?
Right, and you always use it from the column J. You don't press enter. I'm so nervous. Okay.
Perfect.
Copy that across just like you did. And then for the tax rate, you told me that sometimes you have a tax holiday that changes and all that, so your tax rate could change. For now, with this one, I just kept it flat. So put an equal sign and go and find the tax rate.
Okay, and the tax rate is in the model, right?
Yeah.
Is it in the model?
Right there. Well, the best place, I don't know. You take it from the model. You're right. Just click on that 15% and then press the F4 button, to lock it and just copy it across. Let's just keep the tax rate the same. Okay, and then you notice there are all those complications you can put about tax rates in. You can change the periods. You can put deductions. And, Mr. Roderick, right, you could make a change in this. Okay, and you'd have to change one line of the code, and it's not that difficult. That will be another video much later on. Now let's go down and look at our IRRs at the bottom. Way down, just where you looked before.
Okay.
So, and then it's what's the after-tax project IRR now?
It's 10.69.
Which is the project IRR. Go to the model. And, and is that 10 point? It worked. We just are making a parallel model. We haven't affected anything in the model yet. And eventually, here is the big deal. So far you'd say, what a waste of time you are. What a complete waste of time. But when we get to a circular reference, that's the big deal. So the first thing to do is just to get the parallel model working. So now we got to get the det in and get the det IRR. And part of this is to show you about the structure of the models. And, unlike you, Hedy, or Roderick, or other people, or auditors who make and spend all their time in the models, think of the rest of the world. Think of the poor people. Think of my Texas friend who said, I'd rather be sitting on a bed of nails than reviewing somebody else's models. And if you review somebody else's models, you want to get the EBITDA, the tax depreciation, and the taxes, and start working through the IRRs. So the next thing we're going to do is put in some debt. And again, there are a bunch of blanks, but the first thing you do is go to that line 28. And in line 28, there's a 1. I think. Is that?
Yes.
Make that 2. We'll make the debt put a 2 there, and we'll make that so that will be debt to capital. And then you click off of that, and then it says, what's the percent debt to capital somewhere, doesn't it? Go down
Yes.
and put an equal sign and go to the model. Again, that illustrates everything comes from the model.
Correct.
Okay.
And is it this one, 75%, right?
I think, you could take it from just about anywhere you want. And perfect. Okay, thank you. And then we have to put the debt parameters in. And then some people are going to say, now skip all the rest of this stuff. You can skip. And that's a perfect example. Just skip all the crap. But if you want to add all sorts of things like development fees, taxes on development fees, all the DSRAs, that goes in there. But now go to the very next section. And the next section, Hedy, how many debt issues? What's the maximum number of debt issues you've had in a model?
Well, I had about 14 tranches.
Oh my God! Oh, what a painful thing. Of course, when I teach a class, I'd never put more than 2. Oh. So here's the idea. The idea is you take this debt section, you copy it over and over and over and over again, and then you can still resolve all the circular references with all these different debt issues. So right now, this debt issue is just one, and all I'm going to do is put in a repayment and a interest rate. So can you find there's a repayment input, which is in line 81, and where's the interest rate? The interest rate, is the interest rate below or above? So go to this one. Let's go to put an equal sign. Go to the model again, and then go to let's just use that line 45. Go up, down to line 45, up to line 45, and click on that 5 point. Click on G, because that starts in the next. No, G 45.
Okay.
Which is a blank. Press enter. So there's no repayment in the construction period. That's all. And that wasn't very clear, Hedy. Sorry about that. But I just want to. Now, can you find the interest rate down there?
Okay. Interest rate.
It might be a little bit above. Where's the interest?
Yeah.
I know it's there.
Periodic interest rate.
Right. So of course this could be a periodic model with monthly construction and then semi-annual and all that stuff. The normal thing. I'm just showing you this in a simple case. And how about this? I think you can go down to the debt schedule down there.
Here we go,
Just
right?
click on that interest rate. That one. Press enter. Because that's exactly what you're going to do. Somewhere in your model, you're going to have a periodic interest rate issue by issue. I know you do this, Hedy. I hope other people do, but they're not as good as you sometimes. The rest of it, leave. Leave the rest of it. Because that's all I have in the model. And now let's go and see what our equity IRR is. So I'll go slowly a little here. So the first section up here is in our output. And one day I'm going to make a fancy little graph because these are all the key outputs for the model. That's what I did in that. We start with sources and uses, then we go down to EBITDA somewhere down there. And then we go down to the taxes, and they can all have all these complicated tax things. And then you go down to the debt somewhere, and finally you get the equity IRR. So I didn't explain that very well, but let's go all the way down. So it's got the key numbers from each section of the model. And that's what people who really look at it. And the equity IRR is what? 20.93. Can you go to the model? Okay. And now in that model, so we've replicated the model. I know I've been blabbering on, but that didn't take that long. Now, I know you're going to say, oh my God, if I have a 7,000 line model, I can't find all this thing. Well, tough crap. That's the job. If you get somebody else's model and they made it too long and they made it too difficult, I can't do anything about that. Somewhere in the model, there should be these key lines, okay? Now, let's put a circular reference in, and then we're going to stop this one. So let's make a circular reference. Now, to make a circular reference, can you go up to the assumption for fees? Let's put some upfront fees in here. And you go down, and let's say our upfront fees, what percent should we put in?
Well, we can reasonable and put a 0.75.
I say 40%. We're going to show how it really works. Hetty, come on, be a banker. You need 40%, don't you? Okay. Now, if you go down, here's what I didn't do in this model. Go down to the sources and uses of funds statement. And in the sources and uses of funds, so again, this is a very simple model. I'm going to have another video. Hetty, I don't know if I'm going to waste your time on this. I'm going to go through how to make this simple model, okay? Right now, I hardwired that as 0. That would have to be a copy and pasted number.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you put an equal sign and take that 40% across in line F and multiply that by downstairs, that's when you have a circular reference, when you go downstairs instead of upstairs. I discovered that after 40 years, well, 20 years, okay? And press enter. And you get a circular reference. If you don't get a circular reference, can you go to the file menu? Do you have the iteration button on?
Let me double check.
File options.
Formula, yes.
So
oops.
Now we'll leave it on. That's fine. That's fine. I'm just going to tell you something. That if did you click off of it? Leave it on. Leave it on.
Okay.
And so go back and put it on, and then let's do something that you would never do, but the rest of the world would. Let's delete DSRA. Delete the line 101 just for a minute. The whole line. Just delete the whole line. Shift. Just delete it. Control minus,
Yes.
Oh no, undo that. Control Z. Sorry. Delete the whole, I want to get a reference here. Sorry about that. Go down and that total, does that add in? Delete, how about, delete the line debt financing. Fine, delete that whole line.
Okay.
And then, undo that.
Okay.
Oh, it worked. It wasn't supposed to work. Oh, well. It wasn't supposed I will leave that. Usually, trust me, that the iteration button can kill you. Let's go up and do something else. Go up and do something else. Go up to go upstairs and up by the price up there. I have a target IRR somewhere.
Okay. Here, okay, yes, that's the one.
So here's what I would like to do. Right now our actual IRR is 11. So can you put an equal sign right next to the target IRR? Put in G. Go to G. Put an equal sign and no. Escape. We already did it. See the NPV down there? Press F2 and what do I have it? Press F2 That's
Yeah.
that's the equity IRR. So if you now let's do a goal seek, make that equity. That's at the target IRR. That's at the target IRR. So let's do a goal seek, make that one equal to 0. If this works, I'll be so sad. Make that one equal to 0 by changing the PPA price.
Okay.
So what we're doing is just seeing, and then it says okay, and then press OK, and what happens? Is it going around and around? Is it screwing up? I hope. It just doesn't work, right?
It doesn't work, exactly.
And the goal seek, I hate to tell you, Roderick and other people, the goal seek is a big deal.
It is.
It's think about contracts. Think about your debt to capital contract. Think about your PPA contract. Think about your O&M contract. You're goal seeking to find the fees all the time. It's one of the biggest things in Excel. I know you all think it's too simple. Let's press OK and do that. Now, here's what we're going to do. Now, go to the parallel model. And can you go up to the top and put the fees in? When you put the fees in, I believe our fees are going to be associated with each debt issue. So you go and put an upfront fee in, put an equal sign, and just click on that, our 40%.
Right.
Okay.
Done.
And then, if you go down a little bit, just a minute. Down there. Oh, it put the fees in.
Yes.
So here's what we're going to do. You just, on this one, now go back to the model. This is our copy-paste. It's exactly like a copy-paste, Roderick. It's no different. It's all just transparent. You go down. You could even, later, we can compute that in the model, put an equal sign, and get that from the parallel model. And click on the fees. Press Enter.
Perfect.
And then go back to your file menu, go back to the file and take away the horrible iteration button, the most dangerous thing to ever click in Excel, because I guarantee you about 15 years ago I had a class and I said, screw the circular references, let's just put the iteration button. It was the most disastrous class I ever had. I got a rating of about a -1 out of 10, because it just messed everything up so badly. Now, let's do our goal seek again.
Okay, perfect. Goal seek.
Okay. Now, this is just a tiny little bit of example of what the advantage of the circular reference template is. This is just a tiny example. Press OK. Now, let's also respond to Roderick. Go down. Let's go down to the fees again. I'm getting very emotional. This is such that whether life is a circular reference or life is an innovation is a big deal in life. Every single newspaper should say there was another circular reference today. We've just gone backwards. If we break this, we go forwards. Put an equal sign and just go to the 40% over there and multiply it by the debt. Put an equal sign, and then you can put the difference, just like you would with a copy and paste. What's the difference? That's a calculated, and over there we could put, check. And you could put your little audits in, and you can check every single one of these. So that's an illustration of the whole process. And if this video went on too long, and I would suggest, if you're doing this, you try to do what Hetty did. I think this, out of all the stuff on the website, well, I don't know. There's a lot of corporate finance stuff. This might be one of the most important things. We've worked on this for now 2 years, Hetty, haven't we? And finally, we're getting there. And we're going to show you how this same thing works with an enormous model. With all that stuff we showed, if you watch the scenario video, all that stuff about, DSRA changes in the denominator or numerator, balloons, the EBLs, whatever those taxes you have, the withholding taxes, everything. It still all is going to work, and it's checked, it's transparent. If we want to prove how it works, instead of babbling on in LinkedIn, we'll show you how it works. And we'll make another one tomorrow. And I've babbled on too long, haven't I, Eddie?
No, Ed, that was
Okay.
very useful.
Okay. We'll do another one later.
Exactly.
I'll see you,
Perfect.
Eddie.
Thanks,
in Paris,
Ed.
I hope. Okay.
See you in the next episode.
Okay,
Bye.
goodbye. Okay.